Gamers of Reddit, what's the UG portion of your favorite video game? When you're one turn away from building a wonder and another civ builds it. More like a what the frick are you fricking kidding me moment rather than UG, but yay. If they border me, you can bet your butt they're getting invaded. It's incredibly irritating. The Lake Beds Temple in Zelda. Twilight Princess can go jump off a refrigerator. Water themed dungeons in Zelda games have never gone down well with me. Yo, I was just about to comment the water temple in Route 64. Constantly opening the menu and changing boots was fricked. Glad that crap got changed in the 3DS remake. When teammates scatter off in all directions to do their own thing, knowing that it's a team game and we all need to stick together. There's a few cutscenes in Final Fantasy VIII that I cannot stand. It's any portion with fricking Laguna. I hate that entire part of the story. I hated them when I was younger because they were so dumb and cringy, but now that I'm older I'll laugh at them and enjoy them because they are dumb and cringy. Squall's comments are just freaking gold. I dreamt I was an idiot. Needing to find those invisible keys is balls though. The opening of Fallout 4. It's fantastic the first few times, but it's incredibly slow after the fantastic feeling wore off. Then there's the railroad's first proper quest mission, as the solid first quarter of it is a railroad agent slowly walking up a bridge telling you about different rail signs the game doesn't really use and you can't skip him droning on and on about them. If I'm being honest, anything mission related is a bore in this game. I played it just for the exploration and the mysteries of the ruined world. The story easily the worst part of the game. Skyrim, The Council, The Witcher 3, everything going on in Velen, Cyberpunk 2077, Delamain and his goddamn cars, except for the GLaDOS and Beep Beep mother cars. Those are at least funny. Pro tip, you can skip the council if you complete the Civil War questline first. Personally, I hate having to sneak through the embassy. The submerged subway station in The Last of Us. Dark, claustrophic, plus the spores make it so hard to see clearly. I have IRL held my breath my first couple playthroughs in this part and exhaled when I got past it. I love the entire Fallout series, but NV 3 and 4 are my favorites in order. There isn't much about them that I don't enjoy, but there are a few parts in each where I'm all about just getting it over with. New Vegas, Honest Hearts is just kind of dull and I always just sort of rush through it. I'm also not a huge fan of the villa area of Dead Money. It always takes forever to navigate the rooftops every time I play it. Fallout 3, the subway lines. Hands down. I just can't stand navigating those long, dark ghoul-filled tunnels only to wind up in the wrong goddamn place every other time. Fallout 4, I really dislike a lot about this one. It's still a good game and by far the most fun to play, but it's definitely my least favorite. The Vault Tech Workshop DLC is just dull and the workspace you are given is too large to fully utilize without glitches or mods on build limits and the quests lack any redeeming value. The Automatron DLC just feels like a slog for little payout. Robots are cool and all and I guess they can be good for settlements, but companions are a liability and I don't really have much of a use for them other than pack mules. By far though, Nuka World is my biggest gripe. It's super fun if you want to be a raider king and rule the wastes with a scrap metal gauntlet, but if you want to choose the Paragon route and be a good guy, I guess just don't do it then. Your only choices are to follow the quest lines and be Raider King or kill all the leaders and just bypass the entire DLC. What kind of horse crap is that? I just can't believe that there isn't something to balance out the other side of things. Your choices are basically, do some bad guy crap or don't do anything. What a waste. Far Harbor is awesome though, so 1 out of 4 isn't a total loss. That being said, mods can fix anything. If you're struggling on build limits, stand inside the settlement build area, drop a bunch of useless armor weapons from your inventory, start build mode and scrap them. It's a bug that scraps them and decreases build level to fit more things in the settlement without losing any structures, etc. Gunner cages are a really cost-effective way to gather useless junk to scrap glitch with. Grinding for crap with little to no upsides in any game. If a game makes you grind for good loot then I can understand that. But if a game is making me spend 50 plus hours just so I can get this one single thing to get an alright or barely decent modification for a specific weapon or item, then that's where it starts to get annoying. I've come to the conclusion that loot-based loot grind games play on human psychology more than anything. They dangle a carrot from a stick and trick our brains into playing them in order to grind for the best randomly generated loot. But at the end of the day, the cost benefit for the loot is almost never worth it. If you use any gear from your level, you're pretty much going to be as effective as if you were using all the ultra rare loot you spent hours grinding. I always start a total war game with the intention of painting the map. Inevitably, I crush most major resistance, end up with about half the map, and get bored. Me and my brother love TW Warhammer 2 and I see what you mean. After a certain point it literally just becomes a slaughter fest. I once razed 9 cities in a single turn because I had so many armies running around, and I only had around a quarter of the map controlled. Underwater levels. Any game that has them. Assassin's Creed, the first. Traveling to cities in the first part of the game. The first AC in general. A beautiful game, but man was it the definition of repetitive. It's really annoying in Breath of the Wild when you have to climb a mountain but it's raining, so you just have to sit there for a few minutes until it stops. Kingdom Hearts 2 is my favorite game, and the UG part is to be during the Atlantica world where Sora, Donald and Goofy sing along with Ariel and Sebastian from The Little Mermaid. This song is actually a running gag between me and a friend of mine. Spoilers, but the epilogue of Red Dead 2 where John learns to become a rancher. It's a bit of a drag, but it's meant to be and has its place narratively, which makes it tolerable. Well, I play League of Legends and let's just say, the list is endless it seems, but someone going AFK and or intentionally feeding is an UG moment. I like the Monster Hunter series. Every time I have to fight a Plesioth I just roll my eyes. They're just so tedious to fight because they have so much health and they always hide in the water. You're 45 minutes into the quest, carted twice to the phantom hitbox Plesioth calls in butt, and you see it limping towards the coast. You sprint, but not fast enough as it dives into the cave pond and goes to sleep. You frantically search for frogs in vain as the dreaded timer runs out and you need to do the whole dang quest over again. In Pokemon Moon, I don't like Incineroar or Alolan Persian very much. The picture mechanic is kinda lame. Plumeria barely does anything. Far Cry 5. When you get to a certain point in the game, the cult starts looking to capture you. You can't avoid it. I've tried running. I've tried hiding. I've tried killing the cult. They always get to you and send you to this hospital that's super hard to escape. I hate it. Grinding up your Pokemon in areas with much lower level Pokemon. The worst offending games are Heart Gold, Soul Silver and the Black White post game MMO. Did somebody say yoga from GTA 5? There is no need to put a yoga mission in a game about stealing cars and doing other crimes. I failed 3 times intentionally just so I could get past it and continue on with the rest of the game. I find chapter 1 of RDR2 boring as frick. On my 3rd playthrough, I really tried to have an open mind, but it's so restrictive and basically a tutorial. Placing stairs on houses. Minecraft. I'm in survival mode, it's annoying, stairs just rotate and if you click on the wrong half of the block, well guess what, you messed up. Entire Dead Money DLC and New Vegas. It's so unfunny and annoying. I'm convinced it was deliberately created to be the biggest pain in the butt possible. Pretty much the beginning hour or so of most games, except for strategy games like Civ and Total War. Those opening hours to a campaign are the most interesting cause by then end you can be unstoppable. Divinity Original Sin 2 was a favorite of mine for a long time, except the combats. Playing hard difficulty wasn't hard at all, just annoying. Nothing is more fun than knocking down a dude forever and waste the next 90 minutes ticking away at his life, and then repeat for the next 20 fights to come. I should have played the game on easy and get done with the fights faster. That's how I feel too. There's so much I like about DOS 2, just not the combat. Usually people say the combat is the best part, but I just liked exploring the maps and finding secrets. It isn't my favorite, but the first game that came to mind was Super Mario Maker 2 and the done online lag. Maybe I should just play another game. I usually play Roblox for probably my entire life now, but toxic trendsetters were a day here, but before the worst thing before was literally just how many unfun games that are just for kids that IDK what do play. Destiny 2, speak to a Mithrux, speak to Sun, speak to Ikora, speak to Sun, speak to Ikora, speak to Mithrux, pretty much constantly moving from the tower to the helm just for some dialogue to continue my quest. As a LOL and Destiny 2 player, 3,000 plus hours on each game, my answer is obvious. The game itself, plus some portions of the player base are extremely toxic, although I met great people on there too. Series Space Colony, sure it sets up the story, but you don't get any sweet abilities. The real game starts when you touch down on Zeds. It takes like 2 seconds to complete though, and you get to kid yourself that this time you'll definitely kill Ridley before he escapes. I have a few favorite video games. Skyrim dying when you really shouldn't have it all. Undertale using all of the healing items you need for the next boss fight. Not my favorite video game, but the first thing that comes to mind when I think of an UG part of an otherwise good game is the puzzles in Fallen Order. MGS4 when you have to follow the resistance member through a European city under curfew. That freaking level felt like it took up half the game. Stealth only missions in Ghost Recon Wildlands, especially the freaking mission with Sam freaking Fisher where you're not allowed to kill anyone during the stealth part and you basically can't play the game while the mission is active. When you play Subnautica Survival you just have to wait for things to happen, so you just wander off in your Seamoth and boom, a new radio transmission, but oh no, you are in the void, so it's gonna take like 5 minutes to get back your life pod. Dying Light, any platforming level but especially the final ascent up the building to confront the final boss. Seriously, any FPS game that has a platforming level that requires you to jump from one 6-inch beam to another or fall to your death can suck a dong. Especially if you can't see your character's freaking feet. Oh, and while you're at it, don't build up a bad guy only to have us kill him in a QTE fight or a cutscene. Especially if this is the only fight like that in the entire game. Mechanoid swarm dropping on top of where all my colonists are, and a minus is if my colony wealth is skyrocketing. If you don't know, RimWorld. I was playing Minecraft one day, an Enderman teleport inside my house. My house is 3 blocks tall, so that means an Enderman can teleport inside. He was at the beginning of the game, so I didn't have many resources. It took 10 minutes to get rid of him that was supposed to be spent on farming, mining, etc. The way NPCs don't really respond to you killing your target with a public accident in the Hitman trilogy. Incredibly unsatisfying. Even if it was a staged accident scenario. I think stealth is the only way that game was meant to be played. When Morgana leaves Haru's introduction in Persona 5/P5 Royal, good god is it a drag. Someone mentioned the whole arc here, but that beginning part really gets me the most. Logging into a respawn screen means I've had my home robbed and destroyed and got my murdered in my sleep and now lying butt naked on the beach with nothing but a rock. Let's go again. Ignorance of its own developers. Team Fortress 2 has no major, balance-changing update in 5 years. Every casual server is filled with bots that kill you instantly for a few years and Valve doesn't do much to prevent it. There is community service, so it's not that bad. Game is hitting 100.000 simultaneous players every freaking day of the year. Have skin and hat system for milking and it still have no effort from developers to revive it. This game is 14 years old and it's still the most unique shooter that is not old or dead by any means. Valve already got a new engine. Just rewrite it, make an update, and do some advertising with the videos and comics like you did before. It's gonna kill Apex Legends and already dead Overwatch in no time. Playing ranked Rocket League and having teammates vote to forfeit after conceding 1 goal in the first minute of the game. But it doesn't stop there, no. Then they stop playing, abuse you for not forfeiting, and in an effort to get back at you, sabotaging the entire game on purpose, proving that there was in fact enough time in the game to score more than enough goals to win. If this is you, frick you dude. My favorite game is Super Paper Mario. Has my favorite storytelling in all of video games, great mechanics, and good level design. The odd part I would say is that some puzzles are unfairly hard with answers hidden in places they shouldn't. Like, who puts an puzzle solution on a dialogue that can't be triggered again? But the worst part is the post game. There is not a single cool mission to do. Okay, there are 2 side quests that are fun, but the collectibles suck. Waterloo World and Psychonauts. Admittedly none of the other levels are what I'd consider perfect, but that one really sucks. And I know a lot of other people would say the Meat Circus instead, but at least that one is the final level. Yeah, it's not great either, but there's something about an inferior level part that's at the halfway 3/4 way mark in a game that really kills the momentum for me. Unskippable cutscenes after dying to the boss and having to repeat. I had a JRPG on the 360 which featured something like a 60-second run to the top of a tower, an unskippable 2-minute cutscene, and then a dumb boss fight where it was very easy to get instantly ganked. If you died, you had to do all of it again. I came close to just quitting the entire thing. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.